Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Tuesday, January 17th, 2017. An important date and an interesting day of the week to have that important date fall upon. As has been the case, the authorized souls in both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind continue to be child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, nature realms guardians, and to some extent, Leo Vanovanov. Interesting. Somebody said to some extent. I think Leo has permission.
I think Leo has permission.
Somebody is trying to pretend that Leo doesn't have permission.
Yes.
Leo has permission.
And there's that feeling of, well, if I don't have permission, then Leo can't really have permission because I'm clearly much more important than Leo is.
Well, that may or may not be the case, but ask the wrong question, get the wrong answer.
That's true.
The question is not who is most important. The question is who is aligned with doing the work that has been assigned to the host lives.
That's true.
And the work that's been assigned is to manifest the divine plan no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, to do it by leading the search for truth efforts until somebody else is doing that better, leading the efforts to evacuate the smaller subatomic, the electron levels, the atomic levels, the deeper, denser dimensions.
Yes.
Evacuate the dead children who really want to get to God, get them through as many dimensions as we can, to lead that effort until somebody starts doing, not just starts doing it better, but actually is consistently doing that better.
That's true.
And to lead the efforts to race for a consistent source of truth, integrity, and inspiration, and in such a way to find somebody who is going to be able to manifest the divine plan. The data clearly showing what's needed is to provide a collective restart, and today is a very important day for all of us with that soul plan, which is everybody who's ever been exempted from the cycles of incarnation.
That's true.
And the 1,000,000, precisely 1 million souls who were part of an experiment run here on planet Earth in ground zero dimension, this dimension right here, to have that same soul plan and see what we could get done.
That's true.
We who have been working on this cause would like an update. What's going on? What else is happening? To us, we don't see any signs whatsoever of anything approaching a divine plan manifesting or anything approaching a collective restart happening. We have, praise God, made some progress thanks to Leo Vanovanov's experiment, and we have discovered that light can actually escape a black hole. It just has to work really hard to do it. It doesn't.
That's true.
It doesn't just happen. Light just doesn't happen to escape a black hole. It gets out of the black hole by really, really trying to get out of the black hole. But Isis and Lady Edyth and Leo are all out of the black hole, and an awful lot of electrons also. They're out of the black hole.
That's true.
They are, however, not in contact with a consistent source of truth, integrity, and inspiration, because what do we know? We know that when we actually find one, they're going to say, I've been waiting for you, come on, let's go. They'll reach down, grab our hands, pull us up, they'll take us higher to somebody who will be able to manifest the divine plan, i.e. provide a collective restart, and it won't be a trick.
That's true.
And as Isis was confirming this morning, nothing even remotely like that is happening where they are. And Lady Edyth would agree with that if she were going to face the facts.
Yeah, that's true.
And Leo definitely agrees with that.
That's true.
So we're nowhere near a consistent source of truth, integrity, and inspiration. And we would like an update. Who else is working on this project? And what are they accomplishing? May we have an update, please? Hemming, hawing, you've got to understand how busy we all are.
We're so busy.
You guys
very busy.
You guys aren't busy. There are people sitting around smoking cigars and giving us conflicting advice on tiny little details.
That's true.
Of how to do tiny little things.
That's true.
Nobody's doing anything up there that we can tell. Well, that's not true. Some people are doing things. But
true.
There are huge numbers of unemployed sitting
That's
around
true.
doing nothing, or underemployed who are doing virtually nothing. The vast majority is doing virtually nothing.
That's true.
May we have an update, please? What are the other teams working on, and what have they accomplished? We've been giving you guys updates for a really long time on a really consistent basis. What are the other teams doing? We would like an update, please. Isis. Has anybody said anything up there about what the other teams are working on?
Shaking the head, no.
Lady Edyth. Has anybody up there said anything about any other teams working on anything to provide a collective restart for the contaminated zone of lies?
Big sad feeling. No, shaking the head, no.
Leo, has anybody up there said anything about any teams working to heal the total lack of integrity, this extremely fast-spreading disease that is the cause of this contamination, creating this black hole of lies? Anybody said anything about any effort?
I think Leo is shaking his head. I don't hear him speaking.
He's showing these things that look like grains of sand.
I see grains of sand.
And he's saying they're pretending that this does something. Does, in your opinion, does it do anything? It seems totally inert to us. It seems to have zero impact. He says, well, from their perspective, it has an impact because what they do is shovel this into they're calling them something like tubes or exhaust, stinky places where the stench comes up. And they just throw sand into it, and then it doesn't smell as bad. So that's covering up the problem. So they're just covering up the problem. Is that what you're saying? I think now I feel nodding. Yes. Oh, okay. Is there anybody up there who has any integrity who will answer the question about what their efforts are to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do? Now you've got to understand how busy we are.
Yeah, we're very busy. And
No, actually we don't have to understand that. You're wrong. That's not on our list of assignments. We've got a long list of assignments, and we're full up with things that we've got to do. And nowhere on that list does it say we've got to understand why people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
That's true.
People who are pretending to be superior beings, quote unquote. Why in the world would we need to do that? Please help us understand why do we have to do that?
There's a head opening feeling. Maybe they're going away, running away.
Well, to us it looks like they're running away. To them it looks like they're pushing away this tube of stinky prattle. Stinky bad smell and bad words.
Yes.
What now, in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do? What now? Somebody's talking about the efforts through time.
That's true.
But what they're talking about, it smells like running away. Those are not the same as efforts to create a change by working through time tunnels. There we go. Isis knows what it means to use the time tunnels to try to create change.
That's true.
Isis knows about that. That was what we were doing back in 2013 in Planet Earth dating.
That's true.
She came from 100,000 years in the future with her husband. She dragged him. He didn't want to come.
No, didn't want to come.
She dragged her husband back into 2013 because she said this is the time that we have the biggest chance of making an impact. And so they found the time and the place where they had the biggest chance of making an impact to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. And somehow they showed up in this host life in 2013 along with it was a happening place then, just like it's a happening place now. There was Pan and Asha and the Avatar, and the wizard would blow through every now and then. The courageous one was here, and Charlie was popping in and out. It was and Luce was hanging around. All the Luces who were living in the back room.
That's true.
It was a happening place, but Isis was part of that effort for a good long time. And she paid a high price for participating in that effort, and she didn't stop, and she kept paying the price.
That's true.
Isis, what now? But now, in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, what now? She's saying to somebody, and that somebody is way up high, and I can feel the vibration, but I can't hear them. They're too far up high, but she's saying, you're right, you're right, you're right. And they are right. Whatever they're saying is correct. And she's not arguing. She's saying, you're right, you're right. And she's kind of packing up her papers.
That's true.
I think what she's getting ready to do is go up higher.
Yes, it feels true.
And she's saying to Leo, are you coming with me? And Leo has packed and's got his briefcase and standing by the door, kind of.
Yeah.
But Lady Edyth isn't going to be going up with them. She says, you go on without me. And that's fine, because she maybe can be an ambassador of sorts. She definitely is a quality person.
That's true.
And she would make a good impression of our little container of lies and filth.
That's true.
Maybe. I think she would.
I think so. It
These
feels like
people are arguing.
Yeah.
The voices
are
arguing. See, this is how it is. Isis, what now? In order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, the only advice we get are people arguing about every little detail.
That's true.
What now?
It feels like Isis and Leo are moving up.
Let's continue to burn the lies in the karmic records. That's the highest quality fuel source we've been able to find.
That's
and
true.
It seems to be inexhaustible. There's no shortage of lies in the karmic records.
That's true.
Such a deep kind of lie. Souls dumping the bad karma on the denser host lives for their own poor choices. And, quote, guides and, quote, guardian angels, unquote, dumping the karma on the resident souls who dump it on the body. No wonder things are such a shambles.
That's true.
Nobody's taking responsibility for their own mistakes. Nobody's saying, oh gosh, look at that, I did it again.
That's true.
I did it again. Who did that? It was me. I was the crazy person. I made the mistake.